Welcome back. All right, so another news of the day video for all you fine people for your Wednesday. I had expected when I did one early this morning that there would be another one today, and here we are. Jared McCann is out of protocol for the Seattle Kraken, which means McCormick gets sent down, and there's some debate about the Ottawa Senators who've just put Josh Brown into protocols as to tomorrow night's game and the status for it. Right now it's still set to go on. And it doesn't feel like the NHL wants to cancel anything because, again, the games that get canceled have to get moved. There's that 3-week space there where the Olympic break is, and that's where those games would end up. So at this point, we're still seeing guys go into and come out of protocols. It's likely going to stay that way for the season. I'd be very surprised if it changed. Nathan MacKinnon out 3 weeks with an upper body injury for the Colorado Avalanche. So for MacKinnon, that's a blow. That's a blow to the Avs as well, who are off to that 4-5-1 start. So you can view it one of two ways. Either it's a chance for them to come together and prove it and get it going, or it's kind of a built-in excuse as well that if they struggle over the next few weeks, they can say, well, we don't have MacKinnon, right? Maxime Lapierre has been returned to the QMJHL by the Washington Capitals. By doing this, he'd only played 6 games this year. His contract slides, meaning the entry-level contract that he has, it does not burn that first year. That now slides into next year. It can slide, I believe, twice is the maximum. So after you draft somebody, that entry-level contract can slide a couple of times, and then it starts to burn off. So it's a move that teams make, and then the next pressure point's around the halfway mark of the season. That has to do with unrestricted free agency and how many pro years you have in. So for some guys who make it to the 10-game mark and go beyond, they may not make it past the halfway mark of the season. But that's something to talk about when we get there. Dave Andreychuk is pretty convinced that Ovechkin's going to pass him soon on an all-time list that's not being talked about nearly as much as the all-time goals mark set by Gretzky. And, of course, he's set to one more goal. He puts Hull in the rearview mirror, and then he's looking at Jágr. Andreychuk's career high, 274 power play goals, an NHL record. Ovechkin's at 271 career power play goals. So, yeah, he'll get 4 before the end of the year. And, so he will be the all-time leading goal scorer with power play goals in NHL history. Interestingly enough, shorthanded goals, he's not likely to get there. He's got 20 shorthanded goals in his career. I think it's 20 that I saw he had. All I know is that the all-time high is Gretzky with 73. Nobody's ever getting to Gretzky's all-time shorthanded goals record. I'd be honestly quite surprised to see that. I remember when Edmonton shorthanded was just as dangerous as most teams were on power plays. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, we'll see Ovechkin likely break that record soon. So the Ducks owner is meeting with Bob Murray today. So Frank Saravalli's reporting this, and there are some rumblings that they're going to get him out of there. The interesting thing is, I remember reports, I want to say last year or the year before, reports about some issues with the way he was treating his staff. That there was maybe some temper issues with Bob Murray that were there. We'll see what happens with this meeting, but it does look like maybe the Ducks are ready to move on from him. And these are arguments and complaints that have been out there. And now we'll likely see some action with it. At least that would appear to be the case. I'm not sure why the owner would meet with him. Other two things: either, well, we looked into it and you're good, or sorry, we're going to have to let you go. So for the Ducks, who are off to a good start this year, how would Duck fans feel about Bob Murray being out of the organization if that takes place? That could happen tonight as well. Now, unlike most nights, if that happens during games tonight, I will have time to do a video on that and discuss it. Like last night, there was stuff going on that I saw, and I was like, it's 10 games. There's no chance. There's all the overlap. I don't have time. So tonight, if that does take place, I'll be able to do a video on it. Hagel is out 2 weeks with the shoulder injury that I reported on yesterday for the Hawks. Good news for the Hawks, though. Isaac Phillips and Tyler Johnson are both out of protocols, so they're cleared to return. And so, yeah, Chicago going through their own guys in protocols issue that other teams have been going through as well. I do find it interesting, too, that, TSN talking about when would they shut down the Sens, and all I keep thinking in my head is they haven't shut down the Sharks. They didn't shut down the Penguins, so it's just this is how we do this now. You basically treat it like it's an injured list, just kind of out of control injured list at times. But yeah, so Chicago getting guys back, and of course they've won a couple of games now. They're up to 3 wins on the season. Chicago might be looking at a bit of a turnaround here. Good news too for Penguins fans. Crosby and Dumoulin are seen as being a few days away from a return, so they'll probably be back for the weekend, which is good news. And of course, Crosby was just back for 1 game and then test positive, out you go. But yeah, they're a few days away from a return, and that would be greatly welcomed by the Pittsburgh Penguins. And of course, we're looking at Malkin's return probably another, 6 weeks maybe? So Pittsburgh could get healthy over the next while here, and we might see their record get a little better. It's been a bit of a slog for them. 4-3-4 is not the kind of record they wanted to have this year, but the good news is they've only lost 3 in regulation, while they've been minus a lot of big names. Travis Hamonic is in Abbotsford for the Canucks road trip. So Abbotsford's playing at home this weekend. They play on Friday and Sunday. I'm going to go to the game on Friday. I don't think I'll be able to go to the game on Sunday. There's too much going on with NHL games while that game's going on. But Hamonic's in Abbotsford because with his not fully vaccinated status, if he goes down to the States and then comes back up to Canada, he has to quarantine for 14 days. So Rathbone's been recalled. He'll go on that road trip with the Canucks. The good news for the Canucks as well is that Tyler Mott will be on the trip. And they haven't stated what kind of return date they're looking at for him. But if he's on the trip and if he can get into the lineup, yeah, they need him on the bottom 6. He is a depth guy, and he comes into the lineup. That would allow Justin Bailey would probably end up back in Abbotsford here. But yeah, Mott has been missed. And there's just that something in the bottom 6 that they haven't had that it would definitely be nice to see Mott return for the Canucks. Jake Neighbors is at the 9-game mark. So the St. Louis Blues have to make a decision with him because that 10-game mark would burn that first year of his entry-level contract. So either send him down or play him in that 10th game and burn that first year. And again, that's not necessarily the big pressure point for a team. I mean, you don't want to burn off that first year of the contract if you don't have to, if you don't feel like the player's quite ready yet. The Caps with Lapierre as an example. But there's the other side of it too, which is when does a player become an unrestricted free agent? It's after a certain amount of years of experience. And so that 10-game mark doesn't get them to that first year of experience. It's around that halfway mark. So we'll see if Neighbors is kept around by the St. Louis Blues. I think it depends on how healthy they are right now and what they think their prospects are and how he can help or where the best place is for Jake Neighbors is really important. I think he's looked good, but again, the question becomes what's going to be best for his development. Playing that full year in St. Louis, playing various roles here and there, or having a chance to get sent down to a lower level and maybe dominate there, right? And then on the interesting side of things, I've used a Boston magnet for this. Technically, Tuukka Rask is an unrestricted free agent, technically. But he is starting to work out. He is starting to work his way towards a return, which is seen as either a January/February timeline for a return. And for Boston, who are off to a 6-4 start, I could absolutely see them bringing Tuukka Rask back for 1 more year. And then the question becomes, so if Tuukka Rask signs, does that mean that Swayman then gets sent down and you'd have Rask and Ullmark as your starter and your backup? That's quite possible, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. So, all right, there you go. Another little news video for all you fine people on the internet. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.